How about them fighting Phils, ladies and gentlemen, taking 2 or 3 from the LA Dodgers? Nice to see you. Winning 7 of their last 8 games. Great to see you. And now, just as we were falling in love with our Philadelphia Phillies, they go on the road now for another sort of tough road trip. I mean, it's definitely tough, and that the majority of the games are against a good baseball team, and then nice that the last 3 games of the 7-game road trip are against a terrible baseball team. But let's bask in the moment for just a second, and let's just say, well, first off, good morning. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Nice to have you along for this ride today, both on the Jacob Media YouTube channel and the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, and if you're a Phillies fan, it was a delightful weekend. Now, I had been saying, going into Friday night's game against the LA Dodgers, that you took 2 or 3 for the Nationals. Good. You went ahead and swept the Tigers. Great. You were playing those get-right games and those get-right series, and we wouldn't, in fact, see whether or not the Phillies had gotten right until they played a good team like the Dodgers. They took 2 or 3 from them. They corralled Mookie Betts. They corralled Freddie Freeman. They corralled a pretty damn good lineup in that Dodgers team, to the point where they were able to take 2 or 3 from them. And Taijaun Walker certainly got right when we're looking for not just the whole team, but the players individually to get right as well, to help the whole team in the long haul. He seems like he got right. Aaron Nola, unfortunately, not so much. Zach Wheeler, certainly. This is a team that looks a lot more familiar to the team that we saw last year. The team that's playing baseball right now. They got right against the Dodgers. This series, I think, proved it. Now you got to keep it going. It's a matter of keeping it going, but they have certainly rediscovered whatever it was that their spark that carried them last year. They look a lot more like that team now, whether that's home runs, whether that's clutch hits, whether that's great pitching performances. That's what we are seeing now. And for the naysayers that want to say, oh, yeah, it was 2 or 3 for the Dodgers, but it was 2 bullpen games. Yeah, you still had to outscore their lineup. You still had to put up 7 runs on them. You still had to make sure you held that lineup to 3 runs or no runs. So, yeah, I will bask in beating the Dodgers, bottom line beating the Dodgers. And then when you throw in the counter argument and be the fun police again, just like you were when you were saying, oh, it was only the Nationals. Oh, it was only the Tigers. It was only the LA Dodgers who had 2 bullpen games. Yes, that's very true. But that's what was in front of them. Still a good lineup you had to beat. You had to outmash, and you were able to do that in this series. We're going to get into this game, last night's game, yesterday afternoon's game, rather. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the performance from Taijaun Walker, the decision of Rob Thompson to take him out only after 5 scoreless innings and 83 pitches. Thought it was a little odd. We'll get to that conversation. We'll also get to the conversation about the MLB rules. And I don't like being a stickler for rules, but something tells me that that Major League Baseball is not really explaining this well to the players and managers that work under their umbrella, because it seems like everybody is confused. Ferguson started the game yesterday for the Dodgers. He had a ball charged to him before he even threw a pitch due to a lack of understanding of what the rules are. Stubbs had an incident at the plate. Nola, of course, had now a famous incident that Rob Thompson, it's funny, earlier in the day, I was talking about Rob Thompson being a very mild man. Literally, earlier that day, Saturday, I was talking about Rob Thompson being this mild-mannered man to a big Phillies fan. And then the game starts, and Rob Thompson's flying off the handle about Aaron Nola exchanging baseballs. I was like, not exactly a good timing to support my argument. But for the most part, he's been very mild-mannered. But we'll get into the MLB rules. We'll get into a Sixers making new hiring. But all in all, on this Monday morning, June 12th, I am feeling pretty good about our beloved Philadelphia Phillies. And how about this? It's been a minute since Kyle Schwarber hit a home run. He had the walk-off. That was great. But he's on pace for 42 home runs again. He got down to 30. He was on pace for 35 maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Now he's on pace for another 42 home run season. Something else we're going to do, and Rob Thompson's going to allude to it when we hear from him in a second. It's great that you won. That's great you won 2 or 3 on the road for the Nationals. It's great you swept the Tigers. It's great that you won 2 or 3 for the Dodgers. That's great. Now you got to go on the road and win again. And you got to go on the road and win again against a pretty good ball club in the Arizona Diamondbacks. And we'll get to it all. First and foremost, I would not have taken Taijuan Walker out. I know that there's always analytics about the next time through the lineup. In this case, the third time through the lineup for Taijuan Walker can be a bit of an issue for him. I don't care. I take all that under advisement. I don't ignore it. Thank you for that information. Now, when I put him out there in the 6th inning, I'll be more aware of it. Thank you for that information. So if you do lead off with a home run or a single even or a double or a triple, I don't know. If you get into trouble early, that's the bottom line. Oh, look, my bullpen's still there. I hate when major league managers, pitching coaches, whoever, understand what a player's habit is, understand what a player does, what their tendency is, what their trend is, and they react before giving that player an opportunity to start a new trend, which is, oh, maybe now, through the third time through the order, maybe now he's dominant. He had a no-hitter in the 5th inning in his last start. Why not give him another opportunity? Why not give him another? Oh, by the way, still scoreless innings. In his last start. Why not give him the opportunity to start a new trend? Oh, Freddie Freeman's up. Yeah, okay, that's great. Give him an opportunity to start a new trend. I know they always tell you what the trend is. And yes, using the trend a lot of times is a good predictor for what could happen in the future, and you could avoid it. It's a nice warning sign. I get it. But on that particular day, with the way his splitter was splitting, with the way his cutter was cutting, with the way he was setting up those other pitches with his fastball, I keep him out there. And if anything goes awry, the bullpen's still there. It's not like you put him out in the 6th inning and he's got to face 3 batters in that inning or anything stupid like that with the MLB rules. But you can still take him out. So where's the harm in letting him out there for that 6th inning? Oh, well, it's 5 scoreless. He's doing pretty well. He's only got 83 pitches. Oh, I can help my bullpen. And by the way, you don't have an off day today. You're right back at it at 9:40 tonight in Arizona. So it's not like you needed to you had to make sure your bullpen got work today. It didn't make any sense. I didn't like the fact that he took him out of the game, and I thought it was the wrong decision. The right thing happened in that they won, so I can't be too upset about it, but I just don't like this particular thing about a lot of sports, baseball in particular, where I hate calling it even analytics because I know it becomes this buzzword, right? I just didn't like the decision. When your pitcher is cruising, you allow him to cruise. You don't interrupt that. And credit to Taijuan Walker for not just being like, yeah, whatever you want to do, because I do believe in guys standing up for themselves and saying, no, hold on a second. This is my livelihood. This is my career, and I have an opportunity here to build on what has been a great run for me, and you're going to take me out because it's the numbers say, oh, third time through, that's bad. I like giving the players the opportunity. Rob Thompson did talk about it after the game. We'll get to that in a second. I liked Kyle Schwarber going over to him. Kyle Schwarber goes up to Taijuan Walker in the dugout after he got the news that he was taken out of the game. And he just, consoling is probably too over dramatic a word, but just kind of calming him down a little bit. And as I've said many times, all reports out of the dugout and from the Phillies president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski, there's only one player he's seen get more respect than Kyle Schwarber, or as much respect as Kyle Schwarber in a dugout. And that player is Darren Dalton. So I think these players will listen to Kyle Schwarber when he talks, when he tries to talk him off a ledge or tries to calm him down just a little bit. But great performance from Taijuan Walker yesterday. Just by going by the numbers yesterday, it was 5 scoreless for him. 5 strikeouts, just 2 hits surrendered, and issued 2 walks. Early on in the ballgame, it seemed like they were really laying off his splitter. They were going to force him to throw strikes. And in the first inning, got a little bit of a jam with that and then found his way right out of it. And after that, there was maybe 1 inning where he had an issue or 2. I think it was that 3rd inning. We'll go through the play-by-play in a second. But he really – great defense was backing him up. Max Muncy has been robbed time and time again in this series. The Phillies might drive him to retirement. But the Phillies defensively were pretty sound in this series for the most part, especially in games 1 and games 3. Taijuan Walker goes out there yesterday, just 2 hits, 2 walks, no runs, and 5 strikeouts, which is great to see for him. Just look, again, getting back to the trend situation here with Taijaun Walker. So he puts that in the books. He went 7 innings. Now, again, you have to take it for what it is. That was the Tigers lineup. This is the Dodgers lineup. So it is a little bit different. I understand that part of it, but I still think you should just let the guy cruise. So now you're looking at his last 12 innings, scoreless baseball, 12 scoreless for Taijaun Walker, 4 hits in total, 5 walks in those 2 starts, both amounting to Phillies wins, which is very nice to see. How about that? Trea Turner, ladies and gentlemen, batting out of the 2-hole yesterday. Schwarber leading off. Trea Turner batting second. A 3-hit performance. I was really I got greedy. I got real greedy yesterday. So Taijaun Walker, Trea Turner, as I told you guys last week, had only 1 4-hit game last year for the Dodgers. He had 1 4-hit game last year. 3 games ago, 4 games ago, he had a 4-hit performance. I would have loved to have seen him get already his second 4-hit performance of the season and have it be against his former team in the LA Dodgers. Now, not that there's any grudge held there for trading him away, I'm sure, or allowing him to go into free agency and signing with the Phillies, but just to see him get that second 4-hit game would have been great, and I think it would have been a nice exclamation point on how he is turning his season around. I know a lot of people were jumping on him early in the year, and I was certainly frustrated calling for him to be moved down the lineup, and that still could happen. This is a good game from Trea Turner. It's another good game for Trea Turner. You got to start stacking these games, and we can finally see some consistency. I didn't see a month from Trea Turner where I am seeing him bat 320, 340 for a month's time to see how he is really turning it around and to convince me that he's really turning it around. What you have seen dramatically, and I heard Kruk talking about this on the post game. Woke up this morning, watched the post game, and I heard him talking about it where Trea Turner is going out there and chasing less fastballs out of the zone. Really anything out of the zone. The slider he's laying off of, curveballs in the dirt, curveballs that are in the dirt 2 feet in front of the plate. Yeah, he's not chasing those. Those are a nice thing. That's nice. One thing that leads me to believe, or not leads me to believe, one thing that kind of confirms is that just looking at him with the old eye test there, he just looks a lot more comfortable at the plate. Game 2 of this series, he had a couple of bats where it looked like he was really rushing things. He would only see 2 pitches. He would line out. And I get that maybe early in the count, you're looking for the first pitch fastball. You might want to jump on it. Maybe a first pitch curveball. You might want to see if it hangs. You can belt it out of the park or hit it in the gap, whatever it might be. But watching Trea Turner yesterday in particular, he just looked like a guy who was willing to grind out at bats. He looked like a guy yesterday that was just barreling baseballs. And he looked like the guy that we have watched for the vast majority of his career. And I certainly hope that he's the guy that we are going to see for the vast majority of this contract in Philadelphia. But yesterday, another 3-hit performance from him. And comfort is the word that really jumps to mind when it comes to Trea Turner, what you have been seeing so far from him. And just looking at his numbers so far this year, so far this month. Now, it's only been 41 at-bats through the month of June, but right now he is batting .317 with a .349 on-base percentage and 2 home runs. So how about that? One more home run, and he ties his season high for homers for a month. So let's cross our fingers that happens for Trea Turner. So it's only June 12th. They got a tough 4-game series here against the Arizona Diamondbacks coming up in Arizona. And winning on the road has certainly been a problem. And Rob Thompson, you'll hear from him in a second. Rob Thompson even said after the game yesterday that is something that is the next challenge that they have to rise to. Winning on the road. They took 2 or 3 for the Nationals in D.C. That's a nice little start there. So hopefully they go out in Arizona and do the same thing. But one of the things I do need to see for Trea Turner is doing that for a consistent month. It's been 2 weeks. He's adjusted to being moved around the lineup a little bit, especially being the cleanup hitter all of a sudden. Who would have thought that worked, but it worked. And now seeing a bat right behind Kyle Schwarber at the top of the lineup is a great thing. After the game last night, let's flip it over to back to Rob Thompson here for a second. But first, let's get to that play-by-play of yesterday's ball game. Taijaun Walker gets to start against Ferguson last night. Home plate umpire was Chad Whitson, and this has been an interesting back and forth with umpires over the course of this year, especially in this series alone. But before we get to that play-by-play, I do want to let you guys hear from Rob Thompson about after winning 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. Now, it's an interesting thing. Our friend Marcus Hayes asked the question. Marcus asked Rob Thompson, so after you win 2 of 3 from the Dodgers, after you got swept by the New York Mets, after that rough series out there, after losing that game against the Nationals to start up that series with Zach Wheeler getting shelled, what happened? That was the question Marcus Hayes asked. What happened? I'm curious to know what happened. What helped you go on this winning 7 of your last 8 games? What happened? And here's where Rob Thompson decided to turn the credit to.
Our coaches do a great job, and they're talking through situations with these guys all the time. And I think it's just a matter of repetition and, some classroom work, type of thing, I guess. But yeah, we've been playing well for a bit now, so it's good. Now we got to go play a really good team, win on the road. That's our next goal.
Winning on the road is something that they should do with some consistency. Now, for the people on the podcast, I'm now showing the Phillies record home and away, and it's not good. At home, yesterday, the Phillies improved to 19-11. That's a .633 winning percentage. .633 winning percentage. That is 8 games over 500. That's at home. Home cooking. On the road, no bueno. 13-22 on the road for a .371. Oh, my God. Oh, God. 371 win percentage. To call that a lose percentage, but whatever, that's where they're at right there. But flip it there. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, that's what they are on the road. So yeah, maybe just win on the road a little bit, and that'll be fun, right? Maybe we win on the road a little bit, and that'll be fun. As for yesterday's ball game, Mookie Betts started things off for the Dodgers, chasing the splitter. So you saw the splitter, you enjoyed the splitter. You saw the splitter again there. It was working. It was cooking. That's what it was looking like yesterday after one batter. Chased it out of the zone, an 8-pitch at bat for Mookie Betts. Then Freddie Freeman goes up there, strike 3 on the splitter. Oh, my goodness gracious. There it is again, the splitter. Then Smith steps up there, double off a hanging sinker to right field. Max Muncy goes on there, works an 8-pitch walk. Then Martinez goes up there. Now, here's the thing about Smith and Muncy. They laid off the splitter. They did not chase the splitter. They were waiting for the splitter, saw the splitter, ignored the splitter. Muncy worked a walk out of it. Smith was able to get a double. So now you got runners on first and second with 2 outs. He handles his business with a cut fastball on a 3-pitch at bat to strike out J.D. Martinez. You're out of the first inning. Then in the bottom of the first inning, Kyle Schwarber steps up there, leads off with a line out to shortstop. Ferguson, now this is interesting. This is the situation I was talking about before. This is one of the things Major League Baseball needs to go over. Ferguson, and I'm not complaining because this obviously helped the Phils, but Ferguson got charged for a ball before he even threw a pitch. This is the best example of like the modern rules of baseball, where a pitcher already a batter is 1-0 before a pitch is even thrown for the visiting team. So that happened. Then Trea Turner steps up, gets a single to center field. Nick Castellanos gets a single. Runners on first and third. Thanks to Turner's speed, you're able to go from first to third on that play. So you have a first and third, 1-out situation here. Harper steps up, hits a nice little blooper single there to left field. He gets the RBI single out of that. Phillies are up 1-0. Runners on first and second with 1 out. Alec Bohm, welcome back to the lineup, strikes out on 3 pitches. Bryson Stott then strikes out, chasing the high heat in the 8-pitch at bat. Phillies get out of that first inning with a 1-0 victory. Then in the second inning, 1-2-3 for Taijaun Walker, Peralta, Vargas, and Hayward. They all go down in that inning. With ground outs. Then in the third inning, Rojas leads things off by grounding out to Bryson Stott at second base. Mookie Betts hits a single to left field. Freeman flies out to center field. A cutter that hung up. It did not cut. It did not cut. I thought it was gone, but your boy, Brandon Marsh, ran it down, made a good play on it, got a good jump, made a good play on the baseball. Then Smith goes up there, and while Smith's at the plate, Betts steals second, so they got a runner in scoring position. Then he walks Smith. He threw 2 splitters to end that at bat. Splitter number 3, splitter number 4. Both ignored by Smith. Decides, nope, he's out of the zone. He lays off him. So, again, they were looking splitter. They held up the splitter, and they work a walk at it. So, you got a runner on first and second with 2 outs. Muncy, bitten again by the Phillies' great defense, hits a screamer to center field, a sinker that did not sink that much, and he belts it to center field. Brandon Marsh runs it down for the 3rd out of the inning. 2 good plays by Marsh in that inning to help out his pitcher. Then moving to the bottom of the 3rd inning, Stott is now in pitching, the right-handed pitcher for the LA Dodgers. Turner steps up, leaves off the inning with a double to center field. Nick Castellanos flies out to left. They walk Bryce Harper. And they go up and they have Alec Boehm at the plate. While Boehm is at the plate, they put on the old double steal successfully. Harper safe at second, Turner safe at third. You now have second and third with 1 out. Boehm strikes out, chasing 2 consecutive sliders, and then they take out Stott, bring in Kloriak, and then you have the left-handed pitcher facing Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott says, "Nice to see ya." RBI, 2-run single out of left field in that situation. You go up 3-0 at that point. Going into that at bat in the 3rd inning for Bryson Stott, Stott was hitting just .245 with runners in scoring position. .235 with runners in scoring position, and Bryson Stott came up with a big hit there to put the Phillies up 3-0. Clemens ends the inning grounding out to second base. Then really nothing doing there in the 4th inning, at least not for the Phillies offensively, but for Taijuan Walker cruising again. Gets Martinez to chase the splitter again. Peralta grounds out to second base, and then Vargas grounds out to shortstop. Phillies go down 1-2-3 with Marsh and Stubbs striking out and Schwarber grounding out to first base. 5th inning, the last inning you'd see from Taijuan Walker. He strikes out Hayward on the splitter. He gets Rojas to fly out to center field. He gets Betts to pop out to the first base in a 10-pitch inning. 10-pitch inning. Scoreless. 5 innings of work. And yet, Taijuan Walker gets taken out of the game. Let's pause it right there and hear from our man Rob Thompson as to what went into the decision to say thanks but no thanks to Taijuan Walker.
Good velocity up still, and split was good. The reason it was 3rd time through, is pitch count was in the 80s, and we were at Freeman, so want to put a lefty on him, not give him any momentum. But Taijuan was great. He didn't want to come out. He's a competitor. He wasn't happy about coming out, but that's what makes him great. Really does.
I was going to ask you about that conversation. You can tell he wasn't pleased.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like?
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I just said that's it. We're going to go to the bullpen, and he just asked why.
And I assume the answer was, "Hey, you looked great, but we're going to go to the bullpen." He kind of said it right there, but I don't like it. I think the Freddie Freeman fly ball to center field in the 3rd inning that Brandon Marsh tracked down gave them some pause that they might not want to have Freddie Freeman and Taijuan Walker face each other again for the rest of that game. But bottom line is, he got him out the first 2 times he saw him. But the 3rd time he goes through it, the third time he goes through it, that's a problem. Anyway, I don't get it, but that's the decision he decided to go with. So let's pick up the play-by-play one more time here. So Phillies go out now in the bottom of the 5th inning. Almonte is now in for the Dodgers pitching. Turner grounds out. Castellanos strikes out. Bryce Harper works a walk, and then Boehm strikes out again. Very next inning, Gregory Soto is in pitching for the Phils in that top of the 6th inning. And Freddie Freeman, a home run. Slider in the zone. He just belted into the right field seats, and that was that. Then another situation here for Max Muncy where he gets robbed in that 6th inning. Phillies then go into the bottom of that 6th inning, and that was by Clemens. Again, 2nd time in this series, Clemens made a diving stop on Muncy. Muncy just throws his hands up in the air in frustration. Then in that 6th inning, Vesey is in there pitching for the Dodgers. Stott starts it off with a walk. Then Clemens strikes out, just misses a slider in the zone. Marsh goes up there. He gets a single to right field. You have runners at first and third with 1 out. I maybe somebody can help me. What the hell happened here? Okay. Stubbs lays down a bunt, a beautiful bunt, a gorgeous bunt, an RBI infield single bunt. All right. Phillies go up 4-1. On this play, now Brandon Marsh is at first base. Stott is at third. Stott comes home to score on the bunt. Stubbs lays it down beautifully. There's no play to be made by Vesia by throwing to first. Marsh is still booking it from first to second, trying to now turn second with great authority and starts running to third. Nobody is covering third. So almost a heads-up play by Brandon Marsh, but not really. He runs to third. They flip the ball to Muncy, who's backpedaling to third base. Marsh then slams on the brakes. Could he have made it? I doubt it. So he reverses course, stops from second to third, reverses course to go back to second. Muncy has the ball in his hand at third. Marsh, I don't know what he was doing on this, but he goes to run back to second and then abruptly turns to run towards third base again, where Muncy is still standing with the baseball. Marsh is standing there, now caught deer in headlights, tries to start retreating back to third or second. He can't. He's tagged it as it's over. My question, folks, is what the hell was Marsh doing? Now, not what was Marsh doing in continuing the pursuit of third base during the bunt. My question is, what was he doing during the rundown? What was he doing when he was caught in the pickle? What was he doing? Here's my two best guesses here. One, he just anticipated Muncy making the throw immediately to second and thinking the ball was going back to second, reverse course, and thought he could beat it and get to third. Maybe. The other, by the way, none of these are good ideas. I'm just trying to understand what the hell happened. I'm not trying to make excuses for Brandon Marsh. I'm trying to understand what happened. He made a bonehead play on the base, bottom line. The other idea is, and we never saw this camera angle to see what Mookie Betts was doing at second base. Did he deke out Brandon Marsh into making him think that Muncy already made that throw? Because when I saw him turn around so quickly, I was waiting to see an angle where I could see if Mookie Betts was raising his glove in the air like the ball was coming or, something. But bottom line is that he made a bad base running mistake, an awful base running mistake. So now you have a situation here where you could have, let's see, you had runners on first and third with one out. You would have had a runner on first and second with two outs. No, first and second with one out still. First and second with one out is the situation you would have had. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. By the way, only Kyle Schwarber coming to the plate. Kyle Schwarber ended up striking out to end the inning. But the Phillies get out of that inning 4-1. Then in the seventh inning, Hayward hit a home run against Dominguez. I think it was on a 1-2 pitch, so we just lost him there. So it's a 4-2 ball game. Phillies then respond to the seventh inning with Nick Castellanos' two-run home run to left center field on a low slider that he just went down and got after a Trea Turner leadoff single. So on that two-run home run, it was 6-2 Phillies. Then Cody Clemens adds a run with an RBI single. That ended up plating Bryson Stott after a gorgeous Bryson Stott triple. So it's 7-2 to Phillies at that point, 7-2 in favor of the Phillies at that point. Top of the eighth inning, Alvarado. Why don't you make it interesting, Jose Alvarado? Let's sit on the edge of our seats for a second. Jose Alvarado goes up there against Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts works the walk on 4 pitches. Then Freddie Freeman gets the single to left field. You have runners on first and second with no outs. Another automatic ball, this one going in favor of the Dodgers, is Jose Alvarado, I think, was just really afraid to throw a pitch. I just think he wanted to wait as long as possible because he was not accurate. He did not have control. So he waited it out. He gets charged a ball to Smith. He winds up walking Smith in that at-bat. So the second walk of the inning for Jose Alvarado. Bases loaded, nobody out in a 7-3 ball or 7-2 ball game. Max Muncy steps to the plate, hits a bouncer up the middle. It's not hit hard enough to be able to turn two, but it goes into the mid of Trea Turner, who steps on second. You get one out there, and now you have runners on first, and run scores. Runner on first and third with one out. It's now 7-3, and then we see the Jose Alvarado we have come to know and love. Gets Martinez striking out on a cutter on a 9-pitch at bat, and then Taylor strikes out on a cutter as well. You get out of that inning. A bases loaded, no out situation. You only allow one run to score. And it's in favor of the Phillies there, 7-3 after that. Then Phillies in the eighth inning go down 1-2-3. In the ninth inning, Craig Kimbrell comes in and slams the door. The next thing you know, the Phillies are winners at home again. It was a great performance yesterday, and a great performance in game one, not so much game two, but games one and games three for this Phillies team, great performances by them. That's what I need to see from this Phillies team on a consistent basis. You put Bryson Stott anywhere in this lineup, and he seems to just make things happen for you. And that goes really without saying with what you have seen from him so far this season. Absolutely love what I am seeing from Bryson Stott. Wherever you wanted to put him in this order, he'll find a way to produce, whether it's working walks, whether it's making like productive outs, or even in strikeout situations, he's seeing 8-10 pitches in those at bats where the pitcher's really got to work for it. In a worst case scenario, you're making a pitcher throw a lot of pitches and driving his pitch count up. So it's great to see that from Bryson Stott. But this Phillies team, all in all, from what I have seen from this team over the last 8 games, 7 of which they've won, I'm seeing a lot of what I saw in last year's World Series bound Phillies team. They feel like they're never out of a ball game. They feel like they're always in the ball game. They feel like they're always going to fight. And it's a rare occurrence where you see a game like you saw in game 2 of this series now, where they just look lifeless. This is another big test ahead of the Phillies. This is why you want to beat the Tigers, you want to beat the Nationals, great. Get the wins where you can because they're going to help you later in the season. But now you're going to face a team in the Arizona Diamondbacks that came in here to Citizens Bank Park and they won 2 out of 3 from you. Now you're going to be going on the road where you have that 371 winning percentage. And you're going to make sure that you can continue to turn this season around. And it's going to come down to fundamental baseball. It's going to come down to good at-bats. And it's going to come down, oh my goodness gracious, it's going to come down to keeping Corbin Carroll off the base paths. I saw our friend Ben Verlander tweet out his triple 2 days ago. It was a ball hitting the gap. Like, even watching Trea Turner, I don't know if Trea Turner turns that into a triple. It was a ball hit into the gap that Corbin Carroll, he beat the throw to third by at least 5 feet. And here's the thing. If he kept on booking it and it ended up being a bad throw that bounced in front of the third baseman, it might end up getting the Little League home run out of it. Probably would have been a throwing error, a triple with a throwing error they scored on. But the guy just has all sorts of speed. And he was certainly taking the Phillies for a lot earlier in the season when they faced off in South Philadelphia. It has just been wild to watch him. 22 years old and just looking like an absolute veteran out there. Looking at his numbers from earlier in the season, he had the 3-for-4 day. He had the 1-for-4 day. The last time the Phillies played the Diamondbacks was the Trea Turner 2-run home run to tie it in the 9th inning, and then the Phillies went on to win that. I think it was Alec Boehm's base hit in the 10th inning there, but he was 1-for-4 in that game. He was 4-for-3 in the previous. He did take an 0-for-5 day in game 1 of that series. And in that series, Zach Wheeler was on the hill for the Phillies. He won a quality start against the Diamondbacks. So they got 4 in Arizona. A couple of things about yesterday's game. And this is a pet peeve. The quality start in baseball, 6 innings, 3 runs. Quality start. That's a statistic. Quality start. I know a lot of people take issue with the quality start because why you if you 6 runs 3 innings or 6 runs 6 innings 3 runs and the other team or you've only scored 2 runs in that then you didn't give your team a chance to win. Whatever, the naysayers will jump on it like that. Taijaun Walker tossed 5 scoreless yesterday and will not get credit for a quality start because he didn't go 6 innings. That's bonkers to me. And this is why statistics a lot of times can just go out the window. He had a great start yesterday. Should have gone at least 6 innings yesterday. Could have gone, should have gone at least 6 innings yesterday, and did not. To his credit, when he was asked about it after the game, I believe frustrated was the word that Todd Zalecki used to ask him the question after the game. And Taijaun Walker answered it perfectly. He's like, yeah, I wanted to stay in, but, I did my job, and they wanted to go to the bullpen. Very matter-of-fact way to put it. In the moment, he reacted, I thought, appropriately. I mean, during the game, when he's being told going into that bottom part of the 5th inning, that, hey, your job's done today. Thanks. We're going to the bullpen. I thought he reacted like a competitor should act. Like, I still got more. I can still help my team more than I did today. Let me continue to help my team. And then also, you know what else going to do? That's also going to help you in the Arizona series. That, by the way, starts in 24 hours. So I can still spell the bullpen for another inning at least. Yeah, let me out there continue to help the ball club. The ripple effects of not being taken out in the 5th inning. The ripple effects of continuing. He was frustrated in the moment. I mentioned Kyle Schwarber going over to talk him off the ledge and all that stuff. That was great. But then after the game, where he had an opportunity to throw a monkey wrench into the situation, to maybe have some words for his manager, he took the high road. I did my job. Bottom line. Loved his reaction after the game. And that's what you want to continue to see. But won't even get credit for a quality start after 5 scoreless. Not even that. Not even that, unfortunately. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, hey, look, if you ask any pitcher, would they rather have a quality start or a win? I think a lot of the pitchers would take that win. He did get the win. He proves to 6-3 on the season after yesterday's performance. I like the rules in Major League Baseball. I like the new rules in Major League Baseball. But you know what's better than the rules, the new rules in Major League Baseball, is watching how pitchers and players and managers will try to manipulate the new rules in Major League Baseball. This became a huge issue in Game 3 of this series against the Dodgers when Aaron Nola was called out for trying to exchange too many baseballs. And the home plate umpire and the crew chief saying, well, when you're trying to exchange that many balls, we know what you're doing. You're trying to manipulate the new rules. Hell yeah. What the hell are rules? Rules are guidelines. All right. Where's the loophole? When I see a rule, I go, where's the loophole there? You know what managers and players think when they see a new rule? Where's the loophole there? So you had a situation there where Aaron Nola was looking for the loophole. It led to Rob Thompson getting thrown out of the game. You know, such is life. It happens. But then in this game coming up yesterday against the Dodgers, Ferguson, I mentioned it earlier, got charged for a ball before he had even thrown a pitch in the ball game. Interesting. The way Tom McCarthy described it on the broadcast was that Ferguson started the game in the bullpen. So while the Phillies were pitching, while Taijaun Walker was on the hill, you had Ferguson in the bullpen. So with the pitch clock, he comes running in from the bullpen and got charged for it. He wasn't ready to pitch by the time the pitch clock expired because he was in the bullpen coming into the game. He was your opener. He was your starter, right? What hasn't been explained to Dave Roberts? What hasn't been explained to big league managers about the pitch clock rule? With the regularity of bullpen games now, I feel like that would be something that's discussed. With the fact that this was their second bullpen game in the series, I feel like that would have been discussed. And then later in the ball game, Garrett Stubbs is taking his first, I think it was his first at bat of the game, and he thought he got quick pitched with the pitch clock. He was looking up. He was looking up at the 8-second mark, but even before just at that time, they were throwing the pitch. He had an issue with it. He looked like he was frustrated with it. My question is here, there's 3 instances in this one series where the rules seem to either be manipulated, misunderstood, or not known, like Ferguson getting charged the ball coming in for the bullpen to open the game for the Dodgers. I like the new rules. I'd like to see the new rules stick around. MLB is going to have to deal with the loopholes that a lot of rules still have. So if that's what we're looking at right now, if that's the phase that we're in right now of the series of the season, by trying to understand what the new rules are, we're going to have some conversations. This is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Again, I like them. I don't want them to go away. So I'd like to see how they work around these new loopholes that the players are presenting. Or, I don't know, explain to the managers exactly how to use their bullpen games, where their pitchers should be to start out those games. Because I don't want to see it happen to the Phillies later. And the Phillies, by the way, later, they have Matt Strahm getting the start today. So it'll be a bullpen game today for the Phillies as they open up this 4-game series against the Diamondbacks. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, home of the perfect price. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Other jewelers mark things way up just to mark it down a couple of bucks in front of you, make you feel like you won something. But at Steven Singer Jewelers, you walk in knowing you're getting that perfect price each and every day. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Let me tell you about the great people at Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You'll love their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks into the chart topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, at 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts. So try Freestone Farm CBD at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. How about the amazing people at Manscaped? Manscaped.com, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped, ladies and gentlemen, is what you need to. Father's Day, just around the corner. Go to Manscaped.com, use promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code Farzy at Manscaped.com. You'll love their Platinum Package 4.0, which is their best hygiene bundle yet. It includes their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, as well as their Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and they come with skin-safe technology that helps you reduce the risk of nicks, so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. So go to manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Let's get into the chat. Oh, PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Let's get to the chat check here on the Farzy Show channel. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? Go Sixers. I really don't like the pitch clock. Why not? Why don't you like I don't understand. Why don't you like the pitch clock? Keep it moving, baby. Hey, look. I know people that say, well, if you love baseball, now you're watching less baseball. No, I'm not. I'm just not watching baseball for as long. I'm still watching pitch-wise. I'm watching as much baseball. It's a better brand of baseball. It's a more efficient brand of baseball. I like it. But the analytics book, buy the analytics book topper. Blue City Empire Sports, what's going on? I have a question. Will you want a Phillies versus Yankees World Series rematch, or will you want Phillies versus Houston World Series rematch? I mean, I'd rather face the Yankees than the Astros. That's you beat the Yankees, man. That's always a bigger deal than beating Houston. I like the drama that surrounds playing the Yankees, and I like that everybody would be into that more so than the Phillies Astros series. I'd rather face the Yankees. And how about the Yankees? Where are they right now in the AL East? The AL East right now is the best division in baseball, at least the last I looked at it. Okay, the Red Sox dropped to 500. Or they improved to 500 yesterday. So everybody in that division is at least 500. That is insane. No other division. All right, the NL West has 3 teams over 500. The AL West has 3 teams over 500. And in the AL East, everyone is at or over 500. The Rays are in first, the Orioles, the Yankees there. Wow, the Yankees are 9.5 games out of first place. Blue Jays are 10.5 games out of first place. Holy pots and pans. Wow, that's a rough one. That's a rough one, folks. And by the way, just looking at the standings right now, how about the Marlins? Damn it. 3.5 games out of first place. Of course. Arise just looking to hit 400. No big deal there. Let's get back to the chat check. Sean Kilrain, I'm feeling good about how you... What? Oh, I'm feeling good. How about you? I feel great. Let's get these Diamondbacks, not taking them for granted. The Phillies can't take anyone for granted. Like, here's what I'm trained to think as a Phillies fan. I am trained to think that the Phillies are going to go on this road trip where they've struggled all year long on the road. I am trained to think that they are going to take 3 of 4 from the Arizona Diamondbacks and then lose 2 of 3 to the 14-win Oakland A's. That's what I'm trained to think now. Sorry, 17-win Oakland A's. That is what I'm trained to think as a Phillies fan, and I want none of it. But yeah, looking at this pitching matchup, let me jump to that for the chat. I was going to do it in the morning rush, but what the hell? I'll just get to it right now. Looking at the pitching matchup right now for these 4 games. First 3 games of the series are at 9:40. The last one on Thursday is at 3:40. That game will be on ESPN+. Strahm versus Henry, Wheeler versus Davies, Suarez and Kelly. Then Nola rounds it out against Nelson in Game 4 of this series. Henry, a nice young pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, looking to start things off for them in Game 1 tonight. And like I said, it'll be a bullpen game. I'm hoping you can get 3 innings out of Matt Strahm tonight, and hopefully that'll be the case. But Tommy Henry, 25 years old, left-handed pitcher. He's 3-1 on the season with a 4.37 ERA. That's who the Phillies face tonight. He is coming off a rough outing against Washington Nationals where he allowed 5 runs and 4 1/3, gave up 2 home runs and walked 3. So that's the situation you're walking into tonight. Let's see what else we got here. Mihai Sanchez. Oh, wait, Sean Kilrain says Corbin Carroll. That kid is special. I concur. Mihai Sanchez, sweep LA. Sweep LA, later LA. See them in the playoffs. Okay, sweep them later. All right. Do it in the postseason. Should be a good series, says Sean Kilrain. Mihai Sanchez says, NL East could have 4 teams over 500, but we and the Mets spend too much money for mediocrity. Let's take 3 or 4 from the D-backs and 2 or 3 from the A's, who just swept the Brewers. Yeah, it's not great, folks. It's not great what we're looking at right now with this Phillies squad. What's ahead of them against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'd love for the Diamondbacks to lay down, but that is just not going to happen, unfortunately. This team is too good. They come into the game 40-25 on the season, is what the Arizona Diamondbacks are doing. And by the way, the Diamondbacks, guess who they just swept? The Tigers. And guess who they just took 2 or 3 from on the road? The final game of that series being postponed. The Nationals. So very similar schedule for the Arizona Diamondbacks coming into this game. They're playing some pretty good baseball, and they're riding a 5-game winning streak. So that's where we're at right now. Look, a lot has been discussed. Thanks for everyone in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. I told you the pitching matchup for 9:40 tonight against the against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Sixers made an acquisition over the weekend. Now, I also saw a friend of the show, George Niang's comments about Nick Nurse. He's a free agent. Do you want George Niang back in Philadelphia, Sixers fans? I don't know how George Niang would play in a Nick Nurse offense. I know defensively speaking, he'll be a hard-nosed player. He'll give it his all. He'll be that thorn in the side, all the things you say about a player like George Niang, very George Niang thing. The guy's a shooter, did not have a great year last year. I think he would like a new start in Philadelphia with a new head coach. I think he would like to be back. He said glowing things about Nick Nurse's offense and what he could do for a coach like that on the offensive side of things. Defensive side of things, if we're talking about James Harden not fitting in, defensively speaking, now, look, his offense would justify the mean, so it's a different thing, obviously. But just in terms of style, I don't know how George Niang fits in Nick Nurse's offense. Nick Nurse loves shooters. Everyone loves shooters. George Niang can be a shooter, and maybe that's what he is really hitting at as far as the brilliance that Nick Nurse can bring to a ball club when it comes to offensive sets, when it comes to spacing, and what he can create. I'm just not sure how much George Niang can be used in that aspect because he's not really a move around quickly kind of guy. I'm saying he's a little slow. Not speedy. He is not speedy. But they need shooters. I don't see how the Niang, retainment would make sense for Nick Nurse. If you're going to turn Joel Embiid more into a Nikola Jokic as far as a facilitator, growing that aspect of his game, well, then maybe, yeah, just try to keep as many shooters on this roster as possible. I just don't see it being a fit with Nick Nurse right now. And I saw the comments that were made, I believe it was on Friday, on a podcast about George Niang wanting to come back to Philadelphia and playing under Nick Nurse. And that'd be an interesting mix with the two of them. I don't know how well that works, but it's something to think about. I don't see how it fits is my bottom line for it. But that's where the Sixers are at right now in terms of free agency. We're going to find out in less than a month now what's going to be going on with James Harden and some other moves that are being made to help this Sixers staff. They did make one acquisition over the weekend. Bobby Jackson gets hired to the coaching staff of Nick Nurse. I wish that there was some long resume I could talk about with Bobby Jackson and what he has done with other teams and how he has helped develop the Sacramento Kings and other stops he's had after a 12-year NBA career. But there's really just not much to go on. He has had a lot of roles from assistant coach to scout. Basically, anybody that's working their way up right now. He has been a coach in the G League with Sacramento's G League squad. But not a lot to brag about. But just one name to keep an eye on for names that are being added to the 76ers staff under Nick Nurse as it all comes together. And as we already know, Sam Cassell hightailed it out of town, and now he's up in Boston. So that's where we're at right now with the 76ers, eagerly awaiting what happens next. The softball game happened. Devontae Smith's softball game happened at PPL Park up there, or Coca-Cola Park, excuse me, up in Allentown. For the Lehigh Valley, where the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs play. Always great to see the football guys out there with a softball game. Looked like a lot of fun, packed to the capacity. Everybody enjoying it up there as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. Be back with you guys tomorrow for the Farzy Show. Have a good day, everybody. See you.